Hello everyone, Pixar Parker here, and today is going to be another video talking about how to update a Disney park. Yay! DC is one of my favorite parks, and so I had a few ideas on how to update it. First off, I recently posted a video about, it's about how to basically turn the Hollywood Boulevard into Monstropolis, since they're closing the Monsters, Inc. ride. But what if we moved Hollywoodland to where Buena Vista Street is? I think I also in that video brought up an idea for a rename of the park, Disney's Cinema Adventure, because the park would now be almost all about immersing yourself in the worlds of movies. And so this is kind of my layout for Disney's Cinema Adventure. So we would have Hollywoodland, you would enter on Hollywoodland, and this would have a few attractions. It would have a relocated Disney animation building that would be a little bit more focused on how animation works, as well as stepping into some of the worlds of animation, and that displaying how animation works, stepping into Wonderland and for lost ideas. And we also have the Great Disney Movie Ride, which is an idea that I came up with, kind of a revival of the Great Movie Ride, but you're going through Disney movies. And this would replace the Carthy Circle Theater restaurant, as well as, I'm going to say it, Web Slingers: A Spider-Man Adventure. And I like Web Slingers. It's not my favorite. And I also know a lot of people aren't really big fans of it, so closing it in favor of a revival of a classic would be nice. Here's my Google Earth of it, for the Monstropolis one. There'd also be somewhat of a Tower of Terror revival attraction, called, Hollywood Hotel Horror, where it would be a dark ride where you go through a abandoned hotel in Hollywood. There would also be a dark ride themed to Fantasia, which I feel would fit thematically really well into Hollywoodland. But, yes, this is my idea for basically the new entry area to Disney's Cinema Adventure instead of Buena Vista Street. Because, it would show the birthplace of a lot of these movies that you would about to, step into. So, yeah, this is kind of where the location of everything would be, like what I did with Monsters, Inc. And so, yeah, you could also incorporate some of the Buena Vista Street stuff in there. Also, Soarin' would now become a part of Hollywood Street due to something that we will talk about later. I do feel like Soarin' does fit thematically into Hollywoodland / Hollywood Street, because it is a movie where you're it's an interactive, immersive movie, basically, so it fits really well into just the park and Hollywood Street in general. Like I said, the animation building would be it would now have a lot of exhibits, including the Animation Academy, that show how animation works and how animation's done, and the various processes of animation. So yeah, Hollywood Street in and of itself would not just be an entry area, but also a full-blown experience. Now, it could be called Animation Street, because other than Hollywood Hotel Horror, a lot of the attractions have to do with animation, but yeah. Next is the Monstropolis idea that I talked about, obviously replacing the Hollywood Boulevard. Go watch my video about it. It would have a Monsters, Inc. ride, a roller coaster themed to Fearco, a Monsters University experience, Harryhausen's dining, and so, yeah, all of that. Here's my little layout. A trackless Monsters, Inc. dark ride, Monsters, Inc. laugh floor, so a whole immersive land to step into one of the best Pixar movies ever made. And this would only replace what's now the Boulevard, because, as we now know, Avatar is replacing the Hollywood backlot section of Hollywoodland. So, Avatar would do its thing here, whatever attractions they're planning on putting in there, which I hear is a boat ride, so, yeah, Avatar would exist. I think it would be a decent transition for Monstropolis, it would work well with Monstropolis, but, yeah, Avatar there. And then Avengers Campus would basically stay the same, except for, obviously, Spider-Man being gone, but you could build a smaller Spider-Man attraction where, the Pym Test Kitchen is, and then obviously you have the E-Ticket Avengers ride, which is coming, and the Iron Man ride, which is coming, so basically, Avengers Campus would stay the same. Next is Cars Land, which, like Avengers Campus, would basically stay the same. It's immersive movie land, with some great attractions, not really any room for expansion unless you took out any of the dining or shops, which the dining and shops, unlike most lands, actually fit. And then San Francisco would stay the same, except for now it would have a small Baymax-themed spinner ride, as well as a Big Hero 6 roller coaster replacing, like, some of the restaurants, and a Baymax spinner ride being in the center. Again, here's where I Google Earthed it to just add more to the land instead of just being a food court land. And just give people more to do it. Cinematic adventure, or cinema adventure, I don't know. Both of them have a good ring to it. So, yeah. San Francisco would become an actual land instead of just a food and dining experience. So, yeah. That's what I have planned for the San Francisco Street. Heading on over to what's now Pixar Pier would become Toy Story Pier. Don't worry, we'll get to how Pixar IP can still be preserved, but Toy Story Pier I think just fits better. I love Pixar Pier, but I think it just fits better. And so the Incredicoaster would become a Slinky Dog themed roller coaster, like a more thrilling version of Slinky Dog Dash, where the toys have gotten lost in this roller coaster playset, and you team up with Woody and Buzz to find them. Jesse's Critter Carousel and Toy Story Midway Mania would stay the same, but there's a little area behind the Pixar Promenade and Games of the Boardwalk that I was thinking could become a Partysaurus Rex themed water ride. And then where Inside Out Emotional Whirlwind could be like a Green Army Men parachute drop. And then I know it's not labeled on here, but in like the kind of other blank area in Incredicoaster would be a RC racer ride where, like, look it up, it's at the international parks. But yeah, also Pixar Palawan would become the Woody Wheel. As you saw in the art that I did, would now have Woody's face on it. As I think the icon of the park could be like the Great Disney Movie Ride Theater. So yeah, Toy Story Pier would only replace what's now Pixar Pier. Paradise Garden Park would become something completely different. But yeah, Toy Story Pier would be great, immersive, would be themed like a pier playset that Andy set up. Have a lot of thrill attractions. And just in general, be a great immersive land, in my opinion. So, yeah, a lot of kinetic energy, a lot of things to do, and I love Toy Story, so my Toy Story, and also a lot of themed dining. Now, on to what's now Paradise Garden Park, is what I'm calling Pixar Bay, which is how Pixar could be preserved. And so Pixar Bay would have a Ratatouille ride replacing the Little Mermaid Ariel's Undersea Adventure, an Incredibles ride replacing the Golden Wine Vinery, an Elemental ride replacing Seaside Shops, a Luca Vespa coaster replacing both Golden Zephyr and Jumpin' Jellyfish, and a Bug's Life roller coaster replacing Goofy's Sky School, and a Pixar Shorts retheme of Silly Symphony Swings that would be called the Pixar Short Swings. So yeah, it would also be themed like Bayside, but like you could theme it to like a Pixar backlot, but I just don't think that would ring as well or work well with the Toy Story Pier. So yeah, a lot of just like typical reskins, but I have a lot of like cool dining and stuff, like a artist cafe near Pixar Short Swings, the fireplace next to the Elemental Spinner, and like Massimo's Pasta next to the roller coaster, the Luca coaster. And so, yeah, it'd be like a nice place for Pixar rides that, in my opinion, Pixar IPs that, like, in my opinion, like, they could have an immersive land, but work better, like, meshed together. Because I feel like Ratatouille, Incredibles, and Elemental and Luca, and the Pixar Shorts and Bug's Life all, in my opinion, fit really well together into a little, like, Bayside area. Because, like, while they're very different from each other, I think they also work really well. Also, the Coco Boat Ride, I think, is going to be a part of Paradise Garden Park or Pixar Pier, so the Coco Boat Ride would also be a part of, Pixar Bay. If, I don't know, I heard it might be becoming a Coco Land, so, like, I don't know. So if the Coco Boat Ride becomes part of Pixar Pier, then the Coco Boat Ride would also become part of Pixar Bay rather than Toy Story Pier. So yeah, Pixar Bay and then Toy Story Pier would have a little, and Cars Land near it. Pixar is pretty stacked, and I love that. But as you'll see in a future part of this little thing, not in this video, but I have more Pixar ideas. But I'll discuss that at the end of the video. So, again, this is my Google Earth part of what Pixar Bay would be like. And so, yeah. Yeah, basically, it would repurpose some stuff from Pixar Pier. Like, take the Pixar theme from Pixar Pier and make it this. And, yeah. Next person, Grizzly Peak, but not Soarin's World of Frozen. Look, I'm either indifferent or don't like, or, like, I'm fine with Frozen. I get that Disney's definitely going to want to market it. So I chose this. Grizzly River Run to be replaced with an Elsa-themed, like, ice palace ride. The Redwood Creek Challenge show will be replaced by, like, a castle dark ride and a troll-themed, like, spinner. And then there'll also be a Frozen sing-along. But like I said, Soarin's not being a part of this. Soarin' is too good to be rethemed to anything Frozen-related. So Soarin' would become a part of Hollywood Street. And yeah, it might be a little bit of, like, an awkward transition, but I think it could work. And so, yeah, World of Frozen would kind of cap off what's now Disney California Adventure and make it Disney Cinema Adventure. But yeah, but also, like, the Bones, the Grizzly River Run would stay for the Elsa Ice Palace ride, but it would have animatronics and, like, a different theme, basically. Similar to, like, what they did with Tiana's Bio Adventure. So, yeah. Frozen Land, I think it would fit in, and also it's definitely something Disney would want to build at the Disneyland Resort, and I can't find any place at Disneyland, even though it would probably fit better there, but, you know, I think that Frozen would fit well into what's now Grizzly Peak, so you could keep, like, the foresty theme. So, yeah, those are my ideas for Disney's Cinema Adventure. I have some ideas on how to expand the park, but I'll talk about those in a future video, since that's a whole other can of worms to open with ideas. So yeah, I'm still a Pixar fan, and I still do Pixar videos, okay? But yeah, I just have these ideas, and I hope you enjoyed this. Comment down below what you think of these ideas, maybe how you would, well, maybe some lands you would add to Disney's Cinema Adventure, or what you do with California Adventure. Alright, bye!